Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Edward Joseph, and let's talk live. Kenneka Jenkins, what have we learned? All right, let's talk. Well, today, peoples, has been such an interesting day. I'm here, I am live, and I am going to talk about some things, peoples. Peoples, Kenneka Jenkins, what have we learned? You guys come on in. You guys come on in. You guys come on in, for there's so much to talk about, peoples. You guys come on in. Peoples, Kenneka Jenkins, what have we learned? Peoples, I have literally labored on last night. And I must tell you that last night's live was very, very powerful and very interesting. It was very powerful because of the simple fact that I finally now have come to the understanding that it was Kenneka Jenkins in the freezer. I finally come to that understanding. I came to that understanding. Now, I do acknowledge and I do know that many of you haven't agreed with that notion that that is Kenneka in the in the freezer. I do understand that. You know, and I can't say anything different because like I said, everybody has to come to their own understanding. I finally came to the understanding that that is the real Kenneka Jenkins in the freezer. Now, I just wanted to go back and recap a little bit upon why and how I came to that understanding. So, people's, the thing is simply this. What have we learned? Well, one thing that we've learned is that there were two rooms that the kids were in. There were two rooms. Contrary to the people's belief, contrary to many people's belief that it was only one room, it was two. And so that just goes to show people's all of the research that the people proclaimed that they have done. Well, it really didn't make no difference because many of you now see that there were two rooms instead of one. And so you ask the question, why would the kids lie? Well, why wouldn't they lie? Why would anybody not lie? You know, everybody lied in this case. All of the kids, the mama, the sister, the establishment, the police, everybody lied. And so if you are thinking that there are truth tellers in this Kenneka Jenkins case, well, then you're only fooling yourself. You are Boo Boo the fool. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're the Boo Boo the fool. See, I don't give two rats' asses how much research all of you people have done. You are not the truth teller and you're not the truth bearer in this Kenneka Jenkins case. Because as I have already demonstrated and I've already shown on last night, many of you did not believe in what Edward Joseph had said, but I had to labor to show you all what I have found. And so we're going to go even further with that of what I have found. Because like I said, I don't believe for one moment Kenneka Jenkins ever walked the halls of that establishment. I don't believe it. Now, I understand that many of you come with, your own thoughts and views, which is good. I respect that. But as far as I'm concerned, it really doesn't matter to me how much research you've done. It really doesn't matter to me what is set in your mind as to what you think is actual, factual, and true. It really doesn't matter to me because at the end of the day, well, let's just say this. I have proven the real Kenneka Jenkins was in Irene's live. I have proven that unequivocally and undeniably. I have proven that the girl, the second girl who played Kenneka in Irene's live was not Kenneka, because you couldn't even tell me why the pants are different. Why the pants was different? Why one side of the pants was ripped and one side of the pants wasn't? And it did not match that of the young lady in the freezer. I've shown you that. I've shown you in TY's live. One of the young ladies who played Kenneka, she wore a jean jacket outfit, but on the back of the jean jacket outfit, it was all ripped up and stuff, but that was the design. Well, in the freezer, where Kenneka Jenkins' body lie, on the back of her jacket, it wasn't ripped. So that is a discrepancy right there. And I've shown you that, and that is unequivocal, undeniable, that somebody played Kenneka. And then in TY's live again, when many of you thought that Kenneka was sitting in there, sitting down and things and getting hooshed up on some alcohol and all of this other stuff, I have clearly shown you without a shadow of a doubt. Well, it wasn't Kenneka. It wasn't Kenneka. It wasn't Kenneka, peoples. As I clearly shown you. And then I have shown you the young lady who had walked the halls of that establishment wore a black watch. I've shown you from the evidence files that the black watch is what the funeral home had in their possession. Well, Kenneka Jenkins wore a gray watch. And the red band around her wrist was lighter and brighter than that was in evidence at the funeral home. Bingo to the bingo moment, peoples. It wasn't Kenneka. Now, many of you say that Kenneka Jenkins was cremated. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know whether she was cremated or not, because there is no evidence of that. Kenneka was ever cremated. But there is unequivocal and undeniable proof that Kenneka never walked the halls of that establishment, because every girl that you've seen in that hallway had on a black watch and not a gray watch. And it wasn't Kenneka. You clearly seen it, peoples. The evidence don't lie. It don't lie. So you can rant and rave, you can raise your voice, you can scream and holler, you can play like you got all of the proof to the truth. You can tell me everything under the sun, but that doesn't make a hill of beans to me. Because at the end of the day, everything that was in evidence support what I have been saying forever and a day. The girl that came in, her hair came down to her butt. When you see Kenneka in the bathroom, her hair didn't come to her butt. Her hair just barely came to her waist, which is indicative of the fact, people, that it couldn't be Kenneka walking into the establishment, because the hair don't go to her butt. And the girl that walked into the kitchen, you seen the hair all past her waist and down to her butt. And Kenneka's hair did not go that long, peoples. So that was another fact that it could not been Kenneka walking into the kitchen. are walking in the establishment, the halls of that establishment. Couldn't have been Kenneka. And then my other point, when I stated that there was 2 rooms that the kids were in, they were in 924 and they were in 926. I have proven that. 2 separate rooms. I labored on that, and I labored on that, and I labored on that, and I finally proved that it was 2 separate rooms. Now, why would the kids lie? Well, that's a good damn question. Why wouldn't they lie? Well, why would the cops lie? Well, see, all of this shit was purposely orchestrated and purposely done. Now, I said that I was going by what the case file said and what they said. So if there's a discrepancy in what the case file says, well, then I'm only going by what they said, and I'm pointing out what they said because that's what they said. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in the case files, it says that the interview was on 9/10, but in the narrative, they said 9/9. Now, was that an oversight? Well, I mean, that's up to you to decide, people, whether it's an oversight or not. But that's minuscule to me because that's just only one little small piece to this hilarious and nefarious puzzle. Because, see, you want to sit and you want to take the narrative of what these kids had said, but there were other people at the establishment that was in the room that gave testimony that totally goes against what the girls, Monifa and Shemaya, had said, and even Irene. So I'm not going to discount what all of the other people said and just totally believe what Monifa, Shemaya, and Irene said. No, I'm not doing that. And I frankly don't give 2 rats' asses what the girls said because they lied. They lied. The girls lied. Monifa, Shemaya, and Irene. The only one who did not know, and I stood 10 toes down upon that, was Bree. That's why Bree cried so hard. Now, was Bree knowledgeable about Kenneka? Did she know the play? Well, maybe she did, maybe she didn't. That's up for a little bit more investigation. But see, I can't go by your interpretation. I can't. But because at the end of the day, I got to see what's before me. And what is before me is that Bree was distraught. Bree cried. Bree wailed at the funeral while Monifa sat back and laughed because she thought it was so funny. Well, so your friend is dead and you thought that shit was so funny? Really? See, people, I don't look at just 1 or 2 little things and then call it law. I look at the overall picture. And so you can easily try to explain things away, but it doesn't work for me. Because nothing is easily explained, peoples. Unless you are doing what I just did on last night and literally piece this thing together and look at every aspect, every iota of this case, well, then nothing you say to me is going to be actual, factual, or true. And you can bear witness until you blew in the face that your research is all correct and everybody else is wrong, and you are the truth teller, you're the truth teller, and everything that you say, just because you made up in your mind that you believe that you got the truth, that shit don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean it doesn't mean nothing to me. To me, you're just blowing hot air. That's all. That's all it is. You're just blowing hot air because you haven't convinced me. Now you may have convinced yourself and you may have convinced others, but you haven't convinced me. And so, like I said, people, there's always two sides to the story. And everybody in this community has an opinion. But again, like I say, your opinion don't mean shit to me unless you prove to me your stance. And if you can't prove to me your stance, well then, hey, I'll listen to you. I'll listen to you. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stand 10 toes down with what I say. Because everything that I say, I have already walked it down and I've already proven to you. Now, if you don't watch my lives, well, then that's on you. If you don't watch my lives, that's on you. So you will never get a full understanding as to what I'm trying to convey. But you can sit up there with your big hard head and thinking that you know shit, which you don't know shit. You really don't. Many of you YouTubers talk a whole lot of shit, but yet I'd say come to Edward Joseph, let's talk live, and let's have a conversation. And let's break this thing down to see where you are. Well, many of you can't do that. Many of you sit back in the wings. Many of you sit back in the chat and talk your shit. Well, and that's all you can do is just talk your shit. Come to my live and break it down to where I can have a greater understanding as to what you're trying to convey, and then you teach others as well. And then let's see if your narrative holds any type of weight. Because that's the only way that you're going to get any type of respect from me. Do you understand what I'm saying? But many of you can't do that. Many of you come with all of this rhetoric, conspiracy theories and nonsense and shit, thinking that you are the YouTuber streets of validity and thinking that you know every goddamn thing. But then I've always put you in your place every time I go live. See, people, if you had what you proclaimed that you had, well, then you can do what you do. If you had it. But if you ain't got it, all you're going to do is just talk your shit. And so your shit doesn't mean nothing to me. It has no bearing on me. It ain't going to silence me. It ain't going to stop me. You know, you're only hyping yourself up with the bullshit and nonsense that you say. See, I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. I really don't. Every time I go live, I try to prove to myself. And that's what all that matters. I try to prove to myself. And so finally, peoples, I proved to myself that the young lady in the freezer is Kenneka Jenkins. I proved to myself that. Now, I know many of you are not on board with that, and that's fine, because you got to prove to yourself, you got to be convinced for yourself whether that is Kenneka or whether it's not. I'm satisfied because as I did on last night, I had to confirm the tattoos because it was the tattoos for me. No two people is going to have the same tattoo in the same exact spot. Kenneka Jenkins has the butterfly and she has the patch of a rose. One on one side, one on the other side. And then Kenneka Jenkins has stars on her back, And so I'm trying to find a picture with her and Rico lying in the bed. And Rico had took a selfie of them, and we've seen the tattoos of the stars on the back. Well, I have a vivid imagination, but I have a memory of an elephant. And I remember the stars on Kenneka's back. That was one part of the proof. I've seen the butterfly on Kenneka's by her waist. That was another part of the truth. But then I've also seen the batch of roses on Kenneka's other side. And that was the nail that driven in the coffin for me to literally make me understand that is Kenneka. Now, from my observation, from what I've seen, that girl suffered. And she's got her teeth knocked back and knocked out of place. So, in essence, she was beaten. But she was beaten to the degree to where it didn't leave no physical bruises, but it was some strong blows to where it knocked her teeth out of place. So now, how can you really abuse somebody and not leave marks or scars? Well, one of the ways is using a pillow. One of the ways of doing it is using a buffer, like a towel or something. But she definitely suffered peoples. She definitely did. That's no doubt about that. And it really doesn't matter what you say. I see the evidence right there. Because her teeth, as I looked at it on many other pictures, her teeth was straight. But when you look at it in the freezer, her teeth was knocked back and it was gaps in the teeth. That is indicative of the fact that there was some blows to her face. Literal blows to her face. And I surmise, people, this is one of the reasons why that they had put her hand under her chin to keep her mouth closed. So to make it so that you don't see her teeth all knocked out of place. But they couldn't keep her mouth totally closed. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, people, if a person has straight teeth and you're looking closely at the gaps in her teeth, that is indicative of the fact that she's been abused, peoples. She's been abused. And so whether you believe it or not, I mean, really doesn't matter to me because the evidence is there. The evidence is there. The evidence is right there. It's in your face. So you can choose to see it or you can choose not to see it. You know, but at the end of the day, the evidence is there. Hello, Kelly Davis. How are you, ma'am? It is a blessing to see you on today. Kelly Davis says, hi, Edward, and chat. So people, you know, I'm not going to sit and I'm not going to argue with people and things because, like I say, everybody's got their opinion. You got yours and I got mine. And at the end of the day, you know, you render your opinion, but I'm always going to stand 10 toes down with mine. You know, so I wanted to put that out there. But I want the people to be respectful to anybody on my panel. No longer will I ever tolerate any type of disrespect to anybody on my panel, period. You come with harsh words towards anybody, whether you agree, whether you disagree. Don't there's ways of disagreeing, and there's ways of saying things without calling out names to the people on my panel. We don't do that here. We are respectful to the people, because you don't want nobody to be disrespectful to you. So don't come and be disrespectful to the people. Now, you can agree to disagree, but there's ways of doing that. You can be very tactful. But I invited Fresh Source to the live. I didn't ask for the people to vilify her in any such a way. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So whether you like Fresh Source or whether you hate Fresh Source, it really doesn't matter to me. But don't come into my live disrespecting the people on my panel. If you do, and I see it, I'm going to immediately block your ass for all eternity. I have zero tolerance for anybody coming in disrespectful to anybody on my panel. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck how long you've been watching me. I don't even give a fuck if you're a moderator. You come in and you come and start being disrespectful to the people on the panel, I'm gonna block your ass. Plain and simple. We got to learn to be respectful to people, whether we agree or whether we disagree. We don't have to call them all out their name. We don't do that. Okay, so let me clarify something for someone. Someone said you got to pick one. Either she was organ harvested or beaten senseless. I can't see them beating her completely senseless and still taking her organs without them being affected. Well, there's ways to be beaten and your organs still be taken. Now, I didn't say that she was beaten all over her body and things. So understand what I'm saying, and so see what I'm saying and understanding what I'm saying. But then again, like I say, the evidence doesn't lie. It absolutely doesn't lie. So I get it. You guys may not agree, but I get it. But again, the evidence doesn't lie. So let me go back again. Let me go recap on this again right here. When we look at Kenneka's teeth, you can clearly see that there is gaps in the teeth. You can clearly see it. You can see it right there, and you can see it right there. It is not perfect row set of teeth, as you've seen in pictures of her in other photos. There's gaps. You can't deny that there's gaps. There is gaps in her teeth right there. It is right there. You can clearly see it. There's a gap right there, and there's a gap right there. So if there's a gap right there and it's a gap right there, that only tells me that she was beaten in the face. And how she was beaten, well, again, she had to be beaten with some type of cushion, like beaten with a pillow over her face, or beaten with a towel, or beaten with something, but she was beaten. No doubt about it. She was beaten, because again, you're not going to get gaps in the teeth and the teeth be retracted back as we see You clearly see that tooth is pushed back and that tooth is pushed back. There's no perfect row. And then this tooth is not perfectly aligned with this big tooth right here. So, which is indicative of, and then the rest of this is spaced out. So you don't see no teeth. So if she had a perfect row of teeth, all of this would be filled with teeth like this right here. You don't see it. That's evidence. That's proof. So now let me go and show you Kenneka with a full row of teeth. You don't have to agree, but again, the evidence is right there. It's in your face. You can't deny that. If a person has a full row of teeth in their mouth, and then there is missing spaces, it only proves one thing. And that simply is, peoples, she was beaten in the face. Now, I didn't say she was beaten all over her body. I said she was beaten in the face. And that clearly shows. Look at her teeth right here. Perfect row, perfect set of teeth. No gaps in the teeth. None whatsoever. This is Kenneka. You see that? You see how even if she was to bring her lip down over her teeth, you see how perfectly aligned those teeth is right here? And then you see the recessed teeth right here down at the bottom to where it doesn't come all the way up and evenly spaced with the other teeth. But there is no gaps in her teeth. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. It is no gaps in her teeth right here. Okay, so now let's go. Let's look at another picture. Let's look at the pictures of her smiling hard. Let's go back to Kenneka's. Let's go. Let's see, where is she smiling? Right here. Yeah, we already saw that. Look at this right here. There's the recessed tooth. There's no gap in her teeth. There's the recessed tooth right there. As you can clearly see that. This tooth is smaller than the other ones. There's no gaps in between the teeth. There's the recessed tooth on the bottom. There's no gaps in the teeth. Okay, so now let's go right here. Her mouth is partially open. There's no gaps in the teeth. Let's go to the other picture right here when she's smiling even harder. There's no gap in the teeth. You can see the recessed teeth down at the bottom, but there's no gaps in the teeth. And you see how all of her teeth is perfectly aligned. There's no gaps. So when we look at that and we look at this picture, we look at this picture, there's gaps. So the teeth is pushed back, and then there's a big gap right there. There's a gap in the tooth right here. There's a gap in the tooth right there. It's not perfectly aligned like the other picture that I've just shown you. So when the evidence is in your face, crystal clear, peoples, I mean, you explain to me why this picture is like this and why she has a full set of teeth in these other pictures. See? There's the big noticeable gap right there. But on the top sizers right here, there's no gap in the teeth right here. But you can see the gap right there, and you can see the gap right there. There's no gap in the teeth right here, but there's a big noticeable difference on the top of her teeth up here. There's a gap right there. And this tooth is pushed back, which is indicative of the fact, people, is that she has been beaten in the face because her teeth is recessed. You cannot deny the evidence, people. The evidence is right here. Even in this, you can clearly see the full row of teeth with no gaps. Where's the gap in it? And then this big tooth right here, it seems to be pushed back because it doesn't look like it's perfectly aligned with this tooth. But you can clearly see the gap right there. Where's the gap in the teeth? Where's the gap over here? You don't see it, peoples. So whether you believe it or whether you don't believe it, the evidence is right there, is in your face. It's clearly in your face. So, to me, it's no argument, because until you can prove to me, even in this picture right here, there's no gap in the teeth. Every picture that I'm showing you, she has perfect teeth on the top. One may be smaller than the other, but there is no big noticeable gap in the teeth. Right here, same thing. There's no gap in the teeth. Perfect teeth. Right here. Now, this is a little tiny gap. But let's look at another picture. No gap. Little tiny gap. But on this one, is no gap. It looks like her teeth has been her teeth has been chipped down a little bit, because as you can look across the row, there's a little dip right there, and then all the way around there's a little dip. So it looks like her teeth has been chipped, but there is no big noticeable gap like this right here in between the teeth. You can clearly see that. So up here where the teeth rest, there is no big noticeable gap like this right here, a big space. And then even on this side right here, there is a big space, and there is no big space on this side. And then even right here, you can clearly see, yes, her teeth is kind of chipped some because this is worn down, but there is no big noticeable gap like you can see right here, and like you can see right here. No big noticeable gap. So the evidence proves, peoples, unequivocally and undeniably, and then right here, there is no big noticeable gap like you see right there. It's in your face. It's in your face, peoples. Even right here, there is no big noticeable gap. No big noticeable gap. So help me to make that make sense. If she doesn't have a gap in her mouth on these pictures and even on the side, where is the gap? There's no gap. And she's smiling real hard. So if there's no gap in her teeth, peoples, and even on that side, look, you don't see no big gap in her mouth, even on the other side of her face. So many of you do not have to agree, but the evidence is unequivocal, undeniable, peoples. There's no gap. Now with the sizes on the top and sizes on the bottom, makes it look like a gap right here. But when you look at it, there is no big noticeable gap in her teeth. See that? So, and then even, well, I don't think this is Kenneka. I don't think that's Kenneka. That's Kenneka Martin. Because you can look at the face, it's not Kenneka Jenkins. We can do a comparison. My best friend had my godson. He's just like my kid, Kenneka Martin. That's what Monifa had said September the 4th, 2017. That was just 2 days before she went to that party. September the 4th, 2017. That was days before she went to that party. You see that? Did that look like Kenneka Jenkins to you, peoples? The baby just looked just like his mom. Kenneka was pregnant, but she lost the baby. So when people tell me that it ain't no Kenneka Jenkins, it ain't no Kenneka Martin, well, there's Kenneka Martin right there. And there's Kenneka Martin with her child. And Monifa posted this on September the 4th, just 2 days before Kenneka Jenkins went to that party on the 6th and ended up dying on the 7th. That's why I asked, where's the baby? People, it doesn't lie. There it is right there. The evidence is in your face right there. Now, anybody tell me if that looks like the Kenneka Jenkins that you guys have stated, because that baby looks just like his mom. My best friend had my godson. He just like my kid. Where's the baby? This was done September the 4th, 2017, 2 days before Kenneka Jenkins came to that establishment and came up missing. The evidence doesn't lie, peoples. It's in your face. Kenneka Martin, just like I stated, peoples. So where's the suckers that have something to say now? That say, oh no, it ain't no Kenneka Martin. Kenneka Martin, Kenneka Jenkins, it's the same. No, peoples, no. No, peoples, no. And this is what I've been trying to tell you stupid people for the longest time. But see, instead of coming to challenge me, you want to talk about me, you want to ridicule me, and you want to throw sly comments. Well, bring your ass to the live and come prove your case. There she is right there. That ain't one of the twins. There she is right there, peoples. There she is right there. Kenneka Martin with her baby. Do that look like Kenneka Jenkins to you, peoples? Look at the pictures, peoples. She's got deeper dimples, and she's smiling real hard. Look at the dimples. Look at the dimple right here. That ain't really as deep as the dimples right here. And then look at the eyes, peoples. Look at the forehead. Her forehead is a lot different. And then look how she has her hair. Kenneka all the time wear her hair flat iron straight. She doesn't. Every picture you see of Kenneka Jenkins has her hair flat iron straight. Kenneka Martin doesn't, as you can see. And then Kenneka Martin doesn't have a recessed tooth in her mouth, as you can see. And then when did you ever see Kenneka Jenkins wearing makeup, peoples? And then look at how she pucker her lips. Look at how she pucker her lips, peoples. So let's go find a picture of Kenneka puckering her lips. Let's go back to let's go back to Instagram, because I remember her puckering her lips on there. Let's go back to this one. Okay, there it is right there. So let's take a snippet of that. Let's get this one right here. Trying to find all the ones that she was puckering her lips. So you have Jenkins and you have Martin all intertwined and mixed in all of these pictures here. Because if you guys sit here and tell me that these girls look just like the other pictures of Kenneka, this girl right here looks just like Kenneka. You can tell Kenneka again by the double line that's under her neck. Now, if the other girl that favors Kenneka doesn't have the double line as you see right here, well, then you know it's Kenneka Martin. Okay, so let me go back and let me get a screenshot of that. And you can always tell Kenneka Jenkins by the recessed tooth. And I'm gonna screenshot all of these and I'm gonna put these in a photo lineup. And then you will see the difference in between the girls. Between Kenneka Jenkins and between Kenneka Martin. So let me go back and get the other pucker picture. This one right here. All right, so let's compare those pictures that we got to this picture right here. Let's go back to our downloads. Let's call them up. That one and that one. Okay, so let's compare these pictures, peoples. I don't know why come I can't move it. Okay, look at the face, peoples. Look at the face. Do they look the same? Okay, look at the face, peoples. Do they look the same? They almost can pass for twins. Almost. But again, she wore her hair down and she has her hair kind of like tied up, matted up with a bow in her head. But it almost looks like she has braids or something. She has something, but it's not a nice, long, silky, pressed down hair like Kenneka always wear, as you can clearly see. Now let's go to the other picture, peoples. Okay, again, do they look the same, peoples? Do they look the same? They almost can pass for twins. So there you have it right there. There's the difference between Kenneka Jenkins and Kenneka Martin, peoples. There's the difference. And I've always asked, where is the baby? Where's the baby? Many of you say, oh, well, that's Lenore's baby. No, peoples, it wasn't Lenore's baby. You guys get something and you are run with it, you attach with it forever and a day, but you can't prove your stance. I'm proving what I said. And Monifa had posted that 2 days before Kenneka Jenkins had got commandeered. There's the evidence in your face, peoples. 2 days. Two days. And the Facebook posts don't lie, because Facebook posts, they all the time put the time and day that the post was made. Okay. So Edward Joseph always proved his stance, peoples. Now, there it is again. So where is the gap in the teeth over here, peoples? It is no gap. So again, the evidence do not lie. Contrary to what the people may think, It doesn't lie, peoples. It absolutely, unequivocally, undeniably don't lie. Now, again, there is the rose, and this is Kenneka. Guess what? With the long hair, guess what? That doesn't go all the way to her butt, but it just stops right at her waistline. And then guess what? There she is with the gray watch. Always on what? Her left arm. It's always the left arm. There's the rose. When we go back to the girl in the freezer, there's the watch. There's the watch, gray watch. There's the watch, gray watch. Same watch. What? On her left arm. What? On her left arm. And then there is the rose. So let's go back and let's look for the rose picture. There is the rose in the same area, the same spot. And then you can clearly see here in the silhouette, you can see the way that this rose is showing, the little points and things. And there's another picture that's a little bit more clear than this. But people, it's in the same spot. And then on the other picture that I was showing you last night, you've seen the rose right here. And then on the other picture that I've shown you last night, you can click, oh, this one right here. Now there's the better picture. You see the rose. There's the rose, peoples, right there. You see the rose? There's the rose right there. You can clearly see it, clear as daylight. There is the rose. And there is the rose on her picture right here, peoples. The evidence do not lie, peoples. It don't lie. There's the rose. There's the rose right there. Clear as daylight. Clear as daylight. And there is the watch, the gray watch that she always wear, which the gray watch she always wear. There's the white nails that she's got on, and there's the white nails that she got on. Kenneka Jenkins. And then the hair, it doesn't go beyond her waist, which the other girls in the walking the halls of that establishment and walking in with Monifa, Shemaya, and Bree, the hair went past down her back and all the way down almost to her butt. Her hair doesn't go all the way down that long, peoples. But you cannot deny the rose in the same spot, and you cannot deny the butterfly. She has a butterfly, peoples. That's the rose. There's the butterfly. And then let's look at the butterfly on the other picture. There's the butterfly. You see the butterfly right there. There's the butterfly. There's the butterfly. You clearly see it, clear as daylight. On the opposite side of the body. And this is Kenneka, because you can clearly see the butterfly right there, and you can see the butterfly right there. Kenneka. Butterfly, butterfly. So that is undisputable proof this is Kenneka Jenkins in the freezer, because you have the butterfly and you have the rose. You have the butterfly and you have the rose. Undisputable proof, peoples, is Kenneka Jenkins. Undisputable proof. Now, who's going to prove me wrong? Who else has these tattoos? Kenneka Martin don't have these tattoos. Kenneka Jenkins does. No other girl has these tattoos in the same area. Peoples. Now you say the tattoos is in the same place because it's on the same side. Well, no, peoples, she's taking a selfie. And when you're taking a selfie, the picture is in reverse. But when someone is taking a picture view, just like this right here and just like that right there, as you can see, the rose is in the same spot. It's not reversed. The rose is on this side of the body. The rose is on this side of the body. The butterfly is on this side of the body, but because she's taking a selfie of herself, it's on the opposite side because it's reversed. Clear as daylight right there. It's in your face. Undeniable proof, peoples. So they mix Kenneka Jenkins and Kenneka Martin all in this Instagram post. Where is the butterfly, peoples? Where's the tattoo around the waist? Where's the tattoo around the waist? You don't see it. Where's the tattoo around the waist? You don't see it. And perfect teeth. No recessed teeth. Kenneka Martin, peoples. Do you guys get it now? Do you understand? Do you see the difference in between the two? Kenneka Jenkins has sleepy eyes. Kenneka Martin doesn't. She has hardcore eyes, peoples, as you can see. she wears different types of style wigs because Kenneka Jenkins' wig is all the time flat iron straight. Kenneka Martin doesn't wear flat iron straight. Bingo to the bingo, peoples. Kenneka Jenkins, you will always see the tattoos. The butterfly are the rose. There's no butterfly and there's no rose. Clear as daylight. And they almost can pass for twins. So what is it that you guys have to say now? I've shown you Kenneka Jenkins and I've shown you Kenneka Martin. And I've shown you that she had a baby. I asked, where's the baby? Monifa had made the post 2 days before Kenneka Jenkins came up missing. Two days before she came up missing. Remember, Lenore had made the post, you guys picked the wrong family. And that was September the 8th, well before the supposed Kenneka Jenkins came up missing. And they were going to go out there and do the protests. I showed you that post that Lenore had made, further proving that Kenneka was already gone before they were out to try to protest or anything, peoples. It's just like what Jeffrey Feiger said. The family was there at the time to when Kenneka came up missing, to at the time to when Kenneka was found. Now I have showed you. Let's go to the other Instagram page, peoples, where we're going to see the evidence to watch. And see, peoples, as you can see in the picture, when you're taking a selfie, everything is in reverse, as you can see, because that's why you see Bogus Boy in reverse. Why? Because she is taking a selfie. It's in reverse. That's why the tattoo looks upon the same side as the rose tattoo. Okay, y'all understand that now, right? Okay, so let's go to the other post. And let's look at the evidence. Right here. Remember, I told you, peoples, that the girl in the hallway, she wore a black watch. There is the black watch. And that is at the funeral home. But Kenneka had on a gray watch. Remember, the girl in the hall wore a black watch, but Kenneka wore a gray watch. Kenneka's brace, the red band, is a lot brighter than the band that the girl had wore in the hall. Further proof that I told you, peoples, it wasn't Kenneka. And then look, The girl in TY's live, look at the back of the jacket. But look at the back of the jacket right here. But then, as I told you, peoples, and this is one thing that you guys still can't. This is another thing that you guys still can't get over, and that is the simple fact. And I've shown you the other day. Let's go back and let's take a look at that. The pants, peoples. The pants is ripped on the leg, as you can see. Okay, and so when we go to the picture in the freezer, oh, and then let's take a look at this right here. Okay, so when we're looking at this right here, peoples, let's look at that. So when we're looking at that, that is kind of like a eye-looking type of thing right there with a star. Okay, y'all see that, right? And there's the butterfly right there, Nini. Okay, so let's look at the other thing that was put into. Let's look at the other thing that was put into put into the thing. So let's go back here. Put into evidence. So one of these, I just shown it. There it is right there. So let's take a picture of this. Okay, so let's go back and let's get that. Let's go to our downloads. So if you look at that, this has little kind of holes in the ring. Around the ring right there, you see little holes in it. 1, 2, 3, 4. but it has like a eye-shaped thing. Okay. But when we look at this doesn't have little holes, but it has an eye-shaped ring. Look at that. Y'all see that, right? Okay, let's look at that. See that? Let me move this over a little bit. Okay, look at that. So the little pendant here doesn't have the little holes in it. You see that, right? And the eye-shaped ring is a little bit more oval. This is a little bit more of a kind of like outer space looking spaceship like thing. As you can see, two different belly rings, almost similar, but not quite, peoples. Clear as daylight right there. It's in your face. So that's it. That's indicative of the fact, peoples. That's indicative of the fact that you got Kenneka Jenkins and you got Kenneka Martin. Two separate girls that almost look like twins. But vastly different. As you can see right there. No, I'm live right now. As you can see, peoples, the evidence doesn't lie, because this you can see the point to point right here. There's a point right there, and then there's a point right there. This is kind of like a circular, like with little ring right there, a little ring right there, little ring right there, little ring right there, and then a little ring in the center. This is solid with a point, a point, a point, and a point. And a point right there. But the center is solid. The center is hollow, as you can clearly see. And then even the center of this doesn't match this right here in the center of there, as you can clearly see, peoples. Two separate rings. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I've shown you Kenneka Jenkins. I've shown you Kenneka Martin. I've shown you that there is a black watch in evidence, but I've shown you that she wore a gray watch, peoples, right there. And her band is a lot brighter than the band right here. Do you see what I'm saying? So two separate girls. The evidence is in your face. Kenneka Jenkins and Kenneka Martin. The evidence doesn't lie, peoples. The evidence do not lie, peoples. And I've been saying this forever in a day. I've been telling you this forever in a day. Nobody wanted to believe me, but you believe me now. Because you cannot disprove me. And that baby looked just like his mama. There's the evidence right there, peoples. The evidence is in your face. There is the black watch. There is the gray watch. As you can see, the piercings is different. As you can see, the band is different. This is a lot brighter than this. Two different girls, peoples. Two different girls. And then you guys want to say, oh, well, she's got all of this stuff. This is the plastic that is burnt in the freezer. So the black plastic had adhered to her pants and adhered to her thumbnail. This is not a plastic bag. This is the plastic that was burnt and laid on top of her fingernail. Because you can see all of the black plastic all burnt right here. And you can see the burnt plastic right there and under her right here. Clear as daylight, peoples. That's why you see the burnt black plastic right there. You see that. And then the little chips is from the floor. That's why you see the little specks of stuff all on her pants. Because it's from the floor, peoples. Two different girls, Kenneka Jenkins and Kenneka Martin. Unequivocal, undeniable proof. Unequivocal, undeniable proof. And you can clearly see peoples, the rose. And the butterfly is on the other side of her body, peoples. And that's why they took off the scrunchie, because she had the black scrunchie on this arm, but the scrunchie was under her, peoples. Do you understand what I'm saying now, peoples? Do you finally get it now? There is the butterfly right there, peoples. There's the butterfly right there. And then look at the pants, peoples. Because remember, the girl in the bathroom, the pants was ripped clean. But you can clearly see two strands of the jean. You see that right there. So when you want to try to compare that girl, saying that the girl in the bathroom is Kenneka, peoples, no, peoples, no. No, peoples, no. Because the evidence is in your face and it clearly proves to you without a shadow of a doubt. Right here, peoples. There it is, right there. Look at the pants, it's ripped. But look at the pants right here. It's not ripped. Clear as daylight, peoples. You see that? It's ripped. It's not. And it's the same pants leg, peoples, as you can clearly see. And remember, peoples, this girl is a lot thinner than this girl. And this girl is wearing the black scrunchie on the left arm. Kenneka has on the watch on her right arm, as you can clearly see, peoples. Two different girls. Kenneka Jenkins, Kenneka Martin was at the Crown Plaza. The imposter right here tried to play Kenneka. And you never seen Kenneka with her hair over behind her ear. Kenneka always wore her hair over her ear. In every picture you would see Kenneka with her hair over her ear. And her hair did not go all the way down by her butt, as you seen with the trainee walking into the establishment, because that hair was all the way down to her butt. Kenneka's hair, as all of the pictures that I've shown you, have always came to her waistline. Further proof that the person that walked in wasn't Kenneka Jenkins, peoples. And the person walking the halls of that establishment wore a black watch. There's the black watch right there, peoples, in your face. It's in evidence. But Kenneka wore a gray watch. And the girl in the hallway did not wear the watch on the same arm. Did not wear the watch on the same arm. Further proving that it wasn't Kenneka Jenkins. So, peoples, this is Kenneka Jenkins in the freezer. Because I've already shown you the tattoo. I've already shown you the butterfly that was on her waist. I've already shown you the picture of the rose, and the picture of the rose on the other picture. I've already shown you that she has on a gray watch, but the black watch is in evidence. And the girl who's walking the halls of that establishment wore a black watch. I've already shown you that. Hey. So when you guys want to try to say that, the girl walking the halls was Kenneka, well, it does. The evidence doesn't make no sense, peoples. The evidence doesn't make no sense. To the degree to whereas you guys are saying that that's Kenneka in the hallway, when you can clearly see for yourself, there is the rose. There's the rose. The butterfly matches the picture of the butterfly in the freezer. This girl doesn't have a rose, nor does she have a butterfly on her waistline. I've clearly shown you that. So when you guys want to sit here and say, well, Kenneka was walking the halls and all like this, peoples, I have already taken the time and I've already shown you unequivocally and undeniably that the girl in the hallway wasn't Kenneka Jenkins, peoples. It wasn't Kenneka. It wasn't Kenneka Jenkins. Because, again, peoples, the evidence doesn't lie. It doesn't lie. I've already proven to you. It doesn't lie. The pants doesn't even match the girl in the freezer. It doesn't lie. She don't even have a tattoo. It doesn't lie. Okay, take care. Peoples, it doesn't lie. But now I finally figured out that it is Kenneka in the freezer. I know I said that it wasn't, but the tattoos doesn't lie, peoples. No matter how much I say, oh, well, yeah, this is this, and this, The evidence is in our face and it doesn't lie. Now, Fresh Source have brought up a very valid point about her eyebrows. Well, at the time to when Kenneka was at the funeral home, she was already in preparation. So what they did was they cut her hair and they arched her eyebrows. That's why her eyebrows doesn't match that of what's in the freezer. As you can see. Very, very, very good valid point on her part. She was in preparation. So what did they do? They cut her hair. And then they arched her eyebrows. But she's a lot darker than what she was in the freezer, because in the freezer, she just died. But on the gurney, you can clearly see the bruising. There's the bruising right there. There's the bruising right there. There's the bruising on her eyes. There's the bruising on the side of her face. And then now we can clearly see the trauma that happened to her lips, because now we can see kind of the markings that is being pronounced. But this girl was beaten because you can clearly see the bruising on her face as well. But she got beat. She got beat. Kenneka got beat. She got beat in her face. Now, who's to say that they didn't take her organs? Who's to say that they didn't take her organs? We don't know, because she's got a cover all up to her neck. So they could have very well taken her organs, but at the same token, peoples, at the same token, we don't know if at the time to when she was on that gurney, we don't know. And this is the greatest mystery right here. This is the greatest mystery right here. This is what baffles me, because right here she is decomposed on this gurney. Right here, she is decomposed on this gurney, but right here, I don't know why it does that. I try to move it, but can't move it. Oh, how do I get back to that? Oh, there it is, right there. Okay. But I just cut out the other picture, so let me go back and get the other picture. Now this is the greatest. This is the greatest mystery, and I can't explain how this happened. I can't explain the sequence right here, but I know what I see. So, in theory, you go from the freezer to the gurney to the funeral home. That's in theory. That's how it should work. Because you go, you get found, you go get taken out the freezer, you go be identified, and then from there you go to the funeral home. My only thing is, how did she get from the freezer to be over here to be right here in on the gurney decomposed? I can't answer that, peoples. I really can't. Now you don't have to believe this picture. All you got to do just go back and look at the actual video. You'll see what I'm talking about. She was decomposed on that gurney. Now, whatever the sequence was, or however all of this stuff happened, I can't tell you. All I can tell you is what I see. Now, if you guys got any answers behind all of this and stuff, well, then that's why I say help me to make it make sense. Because it doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, again, the evidence is in your face. It doesn't lie. That's Kenneka in the freezer. That's Kenneka on or at a funeral home, which I really don't believe she was at the funeral home, peoples. I believe she was still at the Crown Plaza in the basement. And they just made her face up to make it look like, she was at the funeral home. That's my assumption. Now this right here, they said that, oh yeah, she was dead. She wasn't dead, people. She was much alive. She was in the in the elevator. She was much alive, but she was in the elevator. And it made it look like she was dead, but it was just the way that they cropped the picture. There's the picture right there on her on the gurney. They say, "Oh, this is Photoshop." People's, well, where do you see that it's Photoshop? Because I'm looking at the back, same thing right here, same thing right there. I mean, it doesn't look distorted or anything. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. Looking at that little space of dirt right there. Looking at that little space of dirt right there. I mean, shit, everything matches up. So help me to make it make sense. And so when let me go back right here. Okay, so now this right here, the Kenneka Jenkins deception. At one point in time, people, I thought this was Kenneka. I thought it was her, but I had to come to reality that this couldn't be this right here. He couldn't be her, and she couldn't be her. For the longest time, I thought it was. I thought it was the same. But again, when I'm looking at the pictures and I'm looking at the pictures in sequence, I got to come to reality. And reality says that she's intact right here, and she's intact on the gurney. So regardless of what I feel, her face is intact right here, and her face is intact right here. So it tells me that these other pictures right here couldn't be Kenneka. These right here, it couldn't be her. Because there's no way that she will be looking like this. So that tells me that it had to be other girls. Had to be other girls. So that's why I put this picture up. Because if you look at the recess in the eyes right here, the sleepy eyes, and then you look right here, there's the recess right here, and then she has big eyelids. There's the big eyelids right there. I mean, that's undisputable right there. See that? See how that goes? Her eyes is sunken in, and then her eyes is sunken in. This is matches right here. So which this tells me, peoples, and then even this right here matches right here because it's sunken in. It's sunken in right here. So this girl, they tried to say, oh yeah, that's Kenneka. She wasn't Kenneka. This girl wasn't Kenneka. This girl got big, bulging, sleepy eyes. Kenneka's eyes is not big and bulging like that. And Kenneka's face is not sunken in like this, as it's so pronounced right here, as it is so pronounced right here. As it is so pronounced right here. I had to come to that reality, people. For the longest time, I thought this was Kenneka. But then reality kicked in and says, well, damn it, how could that be Kenneka? And she is intact on the gurney. Because for the longest time, I didn't think this was Kenneka. But I knew this was Kenneka. And I'm like, well, Kenneka's intact like this. There's no way that she can be like this. It's no way. So it only led me to one conclusion, that this girl is this girl right here. That's why I put the pictures together. And that was one of the girls who had died at the Crown Plaza, because there you see the pictures right there. I mean, who else could it have been? You look at the lips, the top lip is small, and then the bottom lip is kind of bulging big. The way that is, and the way that is right there. And then the recess in the eye right here is the recess in the eye right here. It's the recess in the eye right here. It's the recess in the eye right here. And as you can see right here, and then she has big eyelids. And as you can see, the big eyelids right there. So I had to come to reality. This wasn't Kenneka. That this girl is this girl right here that you see clearly right here. Because where do you see the recess in the face in her face right here? You don't see it. It's not Kenneka. It's Kenneka. This is not Kenneka. This is not Kenneka. Clear as daylight. And this is one of the girls who had died at the Crown Plaza. And this is why they said the Kenneka Jenkins deception. Now, do they look alike, peoples? Because you can't have it both ways. You can't say that this is Kenneka in the freezer right here, and then turn around and say, oh, well, this is Kenneka. They don't even look alike, peoples. See how her eyes is relaxed and big and bulgy? But look at Kenneka's eyes. Kenneka's eyes is very relaxed and alluring, very seductive. It's no match, peoples. It's absolutely no match. And plus, this girl don't even have the line at the top of the neck right here. As you can see, Kenneka has the line at the top of the neck right there. Clear as daylight. Kenneka Martin, peoples. They tried to and see, this is what TM's, this is how she do her alluring thing, because now you have the supposed baby of Kenneka, but why is it just only 3 pictures? 3 pictures of a child of supposedly Kenneka. I mean, if you're going to show baby pictures, show more baby pictures than just 3 pictures of a supposed Kenneka. And then you got Monifa saying, on September the 4th, 2017 at 9:09 p.m., my best friend had my godson. He just like my kid. And it's not to say that she just had this baby, peoples, because this baby wasn't just born on September the 4th. Y'all see that, right? 2 days before the disappearance of Kenneka. And then look how Kenneka holds her hand. And look how she holds her hand right here. Further proof is Kenneka. Because her hand goes back into a familiar form. Trying to get back to that other thing of, see all the Kenneka lookalikes? So you see all the Kenneka lookalikes, peoples? And that's the guy right here. Trying to do the same pose as the other girl in the bathroom. All of the Kenneka lookalikes. You see all of the Kenneka lookalikes? Kenneka. So you see how they blend the real Kenneka in with all of these fakes and phonies and frauds, and the Kenneka look-alike, but they don't even have the tattoo or anything. Kenneka look-alike, and she has a square chin. And Kenneka don't wear wigs like this with a bulky stack of hair on top of her head. There's the tattoo. There's the white nails. There is the gray watch. And there's Kenneka. Because now you see the little bags on their eyes. And then there is the part in the center of the head. And then there's the hair that only just comes down to her waist. Now let's look at this. Do this look like Kenneka, peoples? Who you guys think this is? It's not Kenneka Jenkins, it's Kenneka Martin. Clear as daylight. Y'all see that, right? This is why they were asking the imaginary are real Kenneka. They question that. This is Kenneka Martin. Do she even remotely look like Kenneka Jenkins, peoples? See, this is what I've been trying to tell you guys for the longest time, peoples. This is what I've been trying to tell you for the longest time. But nobody wanted to believe me. There she is, right there in your face. Kenneka Martin is taller and bigger. Kenneka Jenkins is shorter in, with form. Look at the neck. There's no double line in the neck. As you can see, peoples. So you guys don't believe that it's Kenneka Jenkins and Kenneka Martin? Well, I just showed you. Remember that little piercing thing? That's the little mark that left, but it's healing. But then you can see the little thing right there. So do she look like Kenneka, peoples? Her lips is not even the same. Do Kenneka have that deep recess look right here? Because this is so pronounced. Even right here, it's so pronounced. See how her eyes are sunken in? Her eyes are sunken in. Her eyes are sunken in. Well, if you look at Kenneka, it is not sunken in, peoples. Clear as daylight. The evidence is in your face. She tried to perpetrate as being Kenneka. She's not Kenneka. So I've been doing all kind of comparisons, peoples, and I've been telling you for the longest time. The evidence is in your face. The sunken in eyes, the sunken in eyes, the sunken in eyes, and the big eyelids. As you can see right here, it's the big eyelids right here. And then if you look at this side and look at this side right here, that matches, peoples. This girl is this girl right here. And it took me a while to understand that. So you guys ask for evidence. I'm giving you the evidence. I'm showing you. I'm showing you. Now in the famous and infamous picture that was in a hallway. This picture has been photoshopped. It's been photoshopped, and you can clearly see that because look at this side right here. This is a not normal picture. This picture has been photoshopped because if you look at it, look at the lips and look how this has been attached. Because look at this side. This side is all darkened, and this side is light. And they wanted to try to make you believe something very hilarious and nefarious. But this has been Photoshop, peoples. Kenneka Martin. But notice one thing, peoples. Kenneka Martin has the little pin thing on the side of the lip, but not on the right side. It's on the left side. I mean, it's on the opposite side. So Kenneka has it over here. She has it over here. Okay, so let me show you. There it is right there. as you can clearly see. See, it's on the opposite side. She has hers right there along the cheek, and she has that on that side. And somebody is taking a picture of them, as you can clearly see. So there's nothing in reverse. You can clearly see. See how Kenneka's eyes is so relaxed and hers is not? Hers is a little hard. Hers is very relaxed. Look at the little thing along the lip. Hers is on that side. Hers is on that side. Clear as daylight, peoples. Kenneka Jenkins, Kenneka Martin. And as you can see, Kenneka Martin don't wear white fingernail polish. As you can see. And Kenneka Martin don't wear the gray watch. And she wears a red band. When did you ever see Kenneka Jenkins wear a big red band? Clear as daylight, peoples. Do you understand the difference now between Kenneka Jenkins and Kenneka Martin, peoples? Two totally separate, distinguished girls. Kenneka is all the time wearing her hair flat iron straight. She has her hairs in kind of like a wig style. I don't know if this is really her hair or not, but her hair is kind of like whatever, but it's tucked back. It's kind of like a braided like, thing. There you see right there. You see that, right? So you see the difference in between the two girls. And see, peoples, this is one of the reasons why they brought the thing all the way up to her face so they can cover the little pin-like thing that's on her face. See that? See that? See that? There's no reason why they need to put the cover all up to her face. So this is indicative of the fact, people, is that her organs probably has been taken. Because all of my 20 plus years of filming funerals and things, I have never seen anything like this, peoples. That they tuck the cover right under the lips, like they tucking her into bed. So they want to literally cover up distinguishable marks. You understand what I'm saying, peoples? So the evidence right here, peoples, is in your face. It's in your face, peoples. So now, they scribbled this out, but in the background, the girl lying on a couch with another girl on top of her is Kenneka Martin. Room with two beds, just like young Bego said. Kenneka Martin. So somebody tried to tell me, "Oh no, that's not Kenneka Martin. That's some other that's some other girl that was walking in the hallway." And Leave No Witness had a video of that. I was going to play that last night. And people, I told you it was Kenneka Martin, not Kenneka Jenkins. Y'all said this was Kenneka Jenkins right here. But it wasn't Kenneka Jenkins. Well, I don't know if they were African or not. You know, I don't know if they were African or not. I can't validate that. But do they look African? I know TM is from the TM is from Jamaica. Her and her sister. So there it is, right there, peoples. I told you it was Kenneka Martin, not Kenneka Jenkins. Because if you say that this is Kenneka, then how could this be Kenneka? If you say this is Kenneka Jenkins, then how could this be Kenneka Jenkins? And then if you say this is Kenneka, well, then TY's live had to be before Irene's live because this girl doesn't look hooshed up. And certainly, Tanasia wasn't giving this girl a cup. And then if you look at this picture, peoples, well, we can't see if she has a black watch, but she has a black, looks like a black band on the right-hand side, because this is her right arm. So it you know, everybody can't be Kenneka Jenkins, peoples. Hello, Randall Robinson. How are you, my friend? It's a blessing to see you on today. Randall Robinson had said, peoples, there were a couple of people in the freezer with Kenneka at the time Teresa showed up. Yep, they sure was. Because there is a video and there is pictures of them being in the freezer. There sure was, peoples. And Kenneka didn't walk in that freezer. She was carried. That's why I said last night that Kenneka did not walk the halls of that establishment. She was carried. But remember what TM said. TM said that there were employees that was down in the freezer for 2 hours when my daughter was down there. Well, if there was employees with your daughter down in the freezer, why didn't you say something? Why didn't you go to the real police? But it came out of her lips. She said there were people that was in the freezer, in the kitchen with her for 2 hours. So if there was people in the freezer with your daughter for 2 hours, well then, damn it, bitch, you already knew that your daughter was being beaten, being assaulted, being raped, being sodomized. You knew it. How did she know? Because if we go back and we revert back to Dr. Oz, Nancy Grace had said, you look so calm. For a mother to have her child dead, you look so calm. How could you keep your composure? She said, because I know. Because I know. Well, goddamn it, people, I surmise, yes, she did know. I said she knew, peoples. I said she knew. That's what she said. I can't make it up, peoples. That's what she said. It came out of her lips. She said, because I know. But she turned around and said that There were several people in the kitchen with my daughter for 2 hours. See, people's, I only can go by what they said. And I only can show you what they said. It ain't what I'm saying, it's what they said. And they said it. She said it. So contrary to what you may think or believe, peoples, she said it. And I've shown you through the evidence that the evidence clearly shows two girls, Kenneka Jenkins and Kenneka Martin. And then I asked, where's the baby? Where's the baby? Where is the baby? Can nobody answer that? So how did Teresa Martin know that there were people in the kitchen with her daughter for 2 hours? Really? So if there was people in the kitchen with her daughter for 2 hours, what the fuck were they doing in the kitchen with her daughter for 2 hours? What was she in the freezer for 2 hours? What was she doing for 2 hours? So if Kenneka was in the kitchen with some employees for 2 hours, well then guess what, peoples? TM had to sit there and see whatever she saw for 2 hours. Because how did she know that somebody was in the kitchen with her for 2 hours? Did nobody ask that question? But she said it. And then she turns around and said, well, we waited for 5 hours for them to defrost the freezer. You see how the narrative switches up, peoples? This bitch can't even keep her story straight. And then after supposedly being notified that her daughter is dead, now she goes, her and Lenore goes and run out like a bat out of hell. And then she takes to the internet, hey live, how y'all doing? My fucking daughter is dead. And for the book and for the record, ain't nothing happened to her, y'all. Ain't nothing happened to her. What the fuck are you saying? Peoples, if nothing happened to her daughter, how in the fuck did her teeth get like this? Gaps in her teeth when she had perfect teeth. How in the fuck did her teeth get like this and ain't nothing happened to her daughter? See, people, as I told you, when I break this shit down, I told you that the evidence do not lie, peoples. The evidence do not lie. Yeah, you're right, Randall. The evidence do not lie. Randall Robinson said they were sweating. The freezer couldn't have been on. And Randall Robinson looks like a whole tooth is missing. Hello, Carla Henry. How are you, ma'am? It is a blessing to see you on today. Carla Henry said, blessings, Edward, in chat. Peoples, I don't have all of the answers to everything. All I can do is just bring to you my findings. That's all I can do. I can bring to you my findings, and I'm showing you my findings. I'm showing you the difference between Kenneka Jenkins and Kenneka Martin. I'm showing you the difference in between the evidence that was submitted. That's all I can do. That is all I can do. And the evidence only the evidence only proves itself. The truth stands alone and it needs no help, people. And no matter how you may want to surmise it in your mind, I mean, however you look at this and think about it, you got to come up with a conclusion or a understanding as to how and why. I can't tell you how and why. I don't know how and why. All I know is what is presented here, and I am showing you. You ask, I'm showing you. You ask the difference between Kenneka Jenkins and Kenneka Martin, I'm showing you. You ask for the evidence, I'm showing you. Now, whatever happened in between, I don't know. I have no clue, but I'm showing you several girls died that night. It was a ritual night, a satanic ritual, a murder mystery game. Now, if you got all of the answers, come to my live and tell us what you know. Or tell us what you think you know. And then come prove me wrong. You suckers talk so much shit, but you can't come and prove shit. I mean, if your game, if your research, if all what you say is actual, factual, and true, come to the live and prove me wrong. You can't. You absolutely can't. People's, the evidence is clearly in your face right there. I can't make this shit up. However it went down, the way it went down, what went down, I can't tell you. I just know that it went down. And that the days that they said that all of this shit happened didn't happen on those days that they proclaimed that things that happened. You guys are mixing up shit to where the people over there coming in on September the 8th. And she died on September the 9th. And all of this stuff of her walking some halls of that establishment and all of this, all of that was supposed to take place. People know. Well, let's go by the timestamps. You can't go by the timestamps, people. I'm showing you that. And things couldn't have happened in a manner to which you say, because the pictures, it doesn't lie. This girl is fresh face. Fresh face. You know what fresh face mean is? It means, peoples, when they took those pictures, Kenneka had no longer died. Science doesn't lie, peoples, because there was blood protruding out her shin in the ankle. It was a fresh wound. Had she been in there for hours on end, the wound would have developed a scab. Whether the refrigerator or freezer was on or off, that blood wouldn't have been looking so fresh and cherry red. In the wound on her ankle wouldn't have looked so fresh. That's how you know she wasn't in there that long when they took those pictures. I mean, peoples, science doesn't lie. It doesn't lie. So if you go with the premise of Teresa Martin saying, well, there were some employees in the kitchen with my daughter for 2 hours. Well, what the fuck were they doing in there? but she was looking at the bag. So she went with status quo. But see, the thing is, she was there. And she told on herself. Teresa Martin was there. See, many of you are just like doubting Thomas. You don't believe it because you don't see it. Well, Jesus died. And Jesus told his disciples that he was coming back again. But Thomas doubted. And so when Jesus came to appear upon his disciples, he told Thomas to put his hands in his wound so he can clearly see he is the risen Savior, just as he said he would. Well, you asked and I gave. Whatever you think or however you feel or whatever you do, that's on you. I've done what I did. I showed you that several girls died. I showed you that Kenneka Jenkins never walked the halls of that establishment. I showed you that there was other girls who played Kenneka. I showed you that there is a Kenneka Jenkins and it is a Kenneka Martin. What more do you not? What more do you need? And all of this other bullshit we're going to get into, and we're going to cover through the case files what these people were saying, and we're going to discover that a lot of that bullshit is bullshit. And that their narratives don't match up to any of the evidence that we have. So you can take Irene, you can take Shemaiah, you can take Monifa's testimony for it. But that shit doesn't hold no weight, peoples. It really doesn't hold no weight. And you can even take TM and Lenore. Just because they said it, that doesn't make it law, peoples. You got to learn to read between the lines. And you got to learn to look at what they stated and what is, and then compare it, and then come to your own conclusion. White nails. A lot of people have white nails. White nails is significant, peoples, because it was white nails that Diddy had all of these ladies wear. Why? Because he was doing satanic rituals. People's, these pictures was taken for a reason. And these pictures signify a young lady being deceased. And if you look at the background, the tone, the hue, the color matches that of a freezer-like setting. So how do you account for these girls that it's missing? And you clearly seen them in the videos with the family of Kenneka. That girl that I showed you. You clearly seen her in the video playing like she was Kenneka. But then you see her picture. The evidence doesn't lie, peoples. And so we can go over and go over and go over whatever you don't believe, we can go over and go over and go over. But this time, if we go over it, bring your ass to the live and chime out so we can have a discussion. You know, come and bring yourself to the panel so we can have an open discussion so we can go over what it is that you do not believe, what it is that you do not accept, what it is that is still bothering you. And then let's talk about it. This is why I do the lives. I did my part. I've shown you what I told you, what I was going to do, and what I have been saying for years. Now you do your part, and you, if you disagree with what I'm saying, that's good. Oh, I love that, peoples. I love that. So you bring your ass to the live and then express to me and the people that of what you got to say. And then prove your stance. You ain't got to get mad. You ain't got to get all huffed and puffed and stuff. Just come to the goddamn live and prove your stance. That's all you got to do, people. Prove your stance. I did. I've already proven last night that there was 2 rooms that they had. So when people want to clout and say, well, we've done all of the research and I'm satisfied, I know the truth and the proof, well, then that's good. I'm glad that your ass know the proof and the truth. I'm glad. You want a biscotti? Do you want a bowl of milk to wash that shit down? To quench your hunger and your thirst? People, there's no need for me to sit here and clout and do all this. I just do what I do. That's all I do. I just do what I do. And whether you like it or not, I just still do what I do. And that's what I do. And like I say, you know, if it's not clear with you, that's fine. It's not clear with you. You got to come to your own understanding. I can't get you there. But however you get there and whatever understanding you gain, come back and have a conversation with me and bring me what you have figured out so we can have a conversation, because I would like to know, peoples. But I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied because I haven't had anybody to prove different. I haven't had anybody to prove different. I had to find it for myself, peoples. I had to get to an understanding for myself. Now, all of what happened to Kenneka, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is that she was transported all over that establishment. I can prove that. And that's what we're going to get into. I can prove that. I can prove that Kenneka was carried. I can prove that. I can prove that Kenneka was raped and sodomized. I can prove that. I can prove, and I've already proven, that Kenneka Jenkins never walked the halls of that establishment, that there was other people who played her. Oh, it's still much to come, peoples. It's still much to come, because again, you guys say that she was taken out in a dumpster. She was out in a bed of roses and all like this and stuff. Well, then my thing is, prove it. Brenda Robinson said, I felt it. I know what they did to her. Yeah. Yeah, they did some horrible things. Because it was a satanic ritual. That's why it wouldn't let Diddy out, because Diddy does satanic rituals. Diddy said that he didn't beat up Cassie, but he did. Diddy said that he didn't beat up Kim Porter, but he did. Diddy said that he didn't do a lot of things to a lot of these girls, but over 200 people is coming to suit him to say that he did these things to them. And it all is going to come out in court. So you can sit here and tell me, oh, well, nothing happened to my daughter. But the evidence says different. I said the evidence says different. And so I can only go by what the evidence is telling peoples. So whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, I really don't give two rats asses, because you asked, I gave it to you. Now you take it from there. You do your own research. You come back and you have a conversation with me, and then we'll go from there. Is that all right, peoples? Wait, it's still much to come, peoples. Still much to come. I got to break down the case files. Got to break down the case files. Got to break down the case files. And that's what we're going to do next. But we're going to go down the list with what Gina had written. Going to go down the list, peoples. And better yet, let me go ahead and call that up. Let me go to my downloads. The basement under the kitchen. Nobody talks about the basement under the kitchen. Family members at Crown Plaza. Kenneka's arrival. And 4 Kennekas in CP hallway. There was 4 to 5 girls or more playing Kenneka Jenkins in Crown Plaza hallway. We talked about that. We just talked about that. We're going to cover these other topics. Kenneka in Crown Plaza parking lot. So we talked about 2 things, but we're going to come back and we're going to cover those, and we're going to get on another one of these other topics. But part 3 is coming tonight, peoples. Part 3 is coming tonight. I just had to come back on here to bring a little bit of clarity out of confusion, peoples. This is part 1. Kenneka Jenkins inconsistencies. We're going to do part 2. I mean, we did part 2 last night. We're going to come back and do part 3 tonight. But right now, people, I got to go. I got to do some volunteer work. I'll be gone for at least 4 or 5 hours, but I'll be back on tonight. And if you guys want to come on to the panel, come on, shoot your shot, say what you need to say and stuff. Greatly appreciate each and every one of you who tuned into the chat. One of One, Randall Robinson, Carlin Henry, Kelly Davis. Greatly appreciate you. Y'all come back, share this live, like and subscribe, do whatever you're going to do. Do your research, come back with something good, something wholesome, something tangible, something with on your lips, on your heart, on your mind. Because like I say, you ain't got to believe nothing I say. I don't expect you to believe nothing I say. All I say is take for what I give, you do your own research, and then you come back and you have a conversation with me. That's all I ask you to do. I don't ask no more of that. That's all I ask for you to do. And if you can do that, well, then that's all that I ask, peoples. I said that is all that I ask. Is that all right, peoples? If you can come back and you can share in the conversation, or if you want to have a debate, that's fine. However you want to do it. But do your own research and then come back and have a conversation with me. And like I say, if you're still confused about something, that's fine. It's always good to be confused. But see, I can't help you if you don't talk to me. I can't help you. I can't help you navigate those waters if you don't talk to me. But if you're still confused about anything and you want to talk, I'm here. Let's talk about it. But if you don't want to talk about it and you're satisfied, are you still confused? Well, then, hey, a closed mouth will never get fed. That's how I look at it. You know, if you're still confused and you don't want to talk about it, well, then that's on you. Go and look for the answers on your own, because unless you openly say something to me, I can't help you. I can't help you. But I gave you what I got. And the evidence don't lie, peoples. It don't lie. I don't care what all of these other content creators may say, think, or do. Again, you ain't got to take my word for it. You believe what you believe. And whatever you believe, that's fine. If you want to talk about it, that's fine. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine too. I mean, it ain't no sweat off my back, because I'm going to continue to keep going through and doing what I'm doing now, with or without you. And that's just the way it is, peoples. You know, the evidence, it don't lie. And you can be the smartest, baddest son of a sucker you want to be, and thinking that you have all of the proof and the truth and stuff. But that's fine. That's fine. Because at the end of the day, peoples, you know, all of these suckers will always remain suckers, because these suckers can never come to my live to debunk Edward Joseph or to prove me wrong. You ain't ready for me. So just stay a lollipop, stay on your stick, and get licked. Is that all right, peoples? You know? Because what's funny to me is everybody, all of you people, all the time got some shit to say, but when it comes down to trying to prove Edward Joseph wrong, are trying to challenge him in any way, well, you can challenge me all you want, but my thing is prove me wrong. So you can talk shit as much as you want to, but prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Well, if you can prove me wrong, then you'll start being a sucker. But only suckers all the time talk so much shit and they can't prove shit. So you suckers keep talking until you come to my live and stand up and challenge me and prove me wrong in front of all of these people. Prove me wrong. If you believe that you got the right answers, or you got a very good, plausible, reasonable explanation to something. Because at the end of the day, peoples, the evidence do not lie. It's in your face. I brought it to you. That's what it is. So, peoples, I hope I had said something to encourage your hearts upon today. Tune in again next time to Edward Joseph Let's Talk Live. Edward Joseph Kitchen, Edward Joseph Gospel Hour, Edward Joseph's Blessings Giveaway 2024 will come to you with something wonderful. I love you with the love of Christ, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Peoples, mask up and be safe. And again, peoples, if the Lord says the same, I will be back tonight with part 3 of Kenneka Jenkins' Inconsistencies. I'll be back. And we will go over the case files, peoples. And we will see if we can be able to get clarity out of confusion. And we will see if we can be able to track the movements of these people. And see if there's something that we can get a greater understanding upon. Now, if you come in, peoples, and you don't want to say shit, well, then that's fine. Don't say shit. Just keep your ass out in the chat. Keep your ass out in the bushes and don't say shit. Just watch. But don't come in the live and disturb the live with negativity and chiming out and chiming upon the people who may come to the panel. Don't get blocked, peoples. I have zero tolerance. So either you want to participate and be cordial and nice, and if you have if you're having a dissenting opinion and stuff, well, keep it clean. Keep it clean, because we don't need to ruffle feathers. We don't need to start arguments and things like that just because you're all in your feelings. Get out your feelings, peoples, but be respectful to the people in here. I had enough of all of this disdain and aggravation and irritation and agitation and instigation. I had enough of that. No longer will that be tolerated in here. So if you can't keep a clean mouth, keep your ass out of here. Is that all right, peoples? You guys be blessed. Get your rest. And if the Lord says the same, I will see you later on tonight, peoples. God bless you all. Thank you for watching.